Welcome to Demo Bytes. Today we are showing you some of vSphere on BlueField, formerly known as Project Monterey. That is where VMware will have direct access to hardware, in this case, a fancy NVIDIA SmartNIC, the BlueField DPU. Wes Kennedy from NVIDIA is going to show us UPT, Universal Pass-Through, which gives us some capabilities with vMotion that we wouldn't have had otherwise. Wes, what are we looking at?
Yeah, so we're looking at a typical small vSphere environment. We've got NSX deployed and configured with a small overlay. That overlay is connected to a distributed vSwitch. That distributed vSwitch has then been enabled with the BlueField for offload. So we're doing a lot of hardware offload features here that can count for just direct hardware access to the NIC. That can also take use of things like connection tracking, crypto offload, and a few other things to help with better performance. Okay. So today we're going to create a simple VM from template, which I'll walk you through right now. We'll give it somewhere to live. We'll put it on number 11.
So there's nothing fancy going on here. We're just picking where this VM is going to live, what data store it's going to use, stuff that many of us have done tons of times.
Bingo. We're not going to power it on yet because we are going to do a slight change to the actual underlying hardware for that VM. So we'll go ahead and go in here and edit the settings. All of this is what everybody that has managed VMware is kind of used to. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to transition this over to that overlay segment. So we're going to move that over. And now we're able to enable UPT support. So like Ethan had said earlier, that gives you that direct hardware access and still gives you the ability to vMotion, use DRS, use HA. So if you have a node fail, that VM's still going to come up on another node. Whereas if you were using PCI pass-through, it would not.
Okay, good. Gotcha.
So we're going to go ahead and let that settle down. Power on that VM. So we're going to get that quick warning that it's not actually activated yet. And that's solely because we haven't enabled the driver inside of the virtual machine itself. So just like you would install VMware tools, we would choose, instead of VMXNet 3, there's a new version of that driver. And I'll show you how that works here in just a moment.
Okay, so Ubuntu 20, we don't care that it's launching Redis. We just care that it's a Linux box and we need to swap a driver to get this UPT capability.
Bingo, yeah. So the only reason we're doing Redis here is because this is our lab number 1. It's kind of like the basic intro. And then lab number 2 on NVIDIA Launchpad would be a walkthrough of actual like performance improvements because of UPT and things that we're doing there. So it's a Redis server and Redis clients that are beating the snot out of each other. And then we're using the hardware offload to show improved performance.
Gotcha.
Yep. So we are going to check the driver version. These are just scripts to kind of make this a little easier. These are not anything special that you would need. Basically, if you're on driver 1.7, that is the UPT-enabled driver. Currently, we're on 1.4. So what we're going to do is go ahead and pull out that .so file and insert another one, but we're going to just run a script to do that for us. And then we're going to rerun that check script, and now you can see that we're on VMXNet 3, but it's version 1.7, so we're now UPT enabled.
Now that means we've got this UPT capability. We are talking from the VM through the hypervisor directly to the BlueField DPU. So now we've got full ability to take advantage of all of the hardware in that BlueField DPU. All of the capabilities of that card are available to VMware.
Yeah, all the ConnectX 6 silicon that's in there. That has been integrated in the VMware stack over the last 10, 15 years. All of that is now directly available to that VM, right? So we've got all these drivers that we've done with ESX directly now available directly to that VM.
Okay.
But you also now get to migrate, and that's a big deal. So let's go ahead and move it from host.11 to .13.
Which, as you said before, if this is PCI pass-through, this would not work.
Correct, because it's a different physical PCI device, right, on the other host. And all VMware is doing is abstracting that with this new driver. which I make it seem trivial, and it's not.
I've heard that there's a lot of work that's gone on the back to make Project Monterey work.
Yeah, it's it's been a few sleepless nights. So we had that warning there that UPT mode wasn't enabled for a hot second. That was just, I think that's a little UI thing that they need to smooth out. But the VM has moved. We can scroll down. We're on host.13 now.
Oh, look at that.
And we're going to hop back in to the VM. And I'm going to once again run that script to see what version. We're on 1.7. So we've got that device ready to go. And we should. Oh, no. I'm a liar. Sorry, we're using their driver, not ours. So now we've got that VM. It's been migrated. We've got UPT mode enabled. We have direct access to that hardware. So we've made life super easy for the administrators that really need high performance for their VMs without injecting VMware in between the VM and the NIC.
Okay, so this is a very simple demo, one that we were able to do quickly. But what are the other major use cases here for this, Wes?
So, I mean, the whole idea here is how do we move the resource, I don't want to say hogs, but the resource intensive parts of the vCloud suite out of the actual host machine and into a DPU, giving back those resources to that host machine for your virtual machines and your applications. So the higher performance, the higher IO that you start driving through a standard vSphere environment, the more that vSAN or NSX is going to start chewing up. So if you've got 100 gig NICs and you're doing tons of NVMe and you've got a database server that's just kicking the snot out of the thing, you're going to see those CPUs peg because of those needs for vSAN and for NSX. So you're what we're now going to see, because we're enabling hardware offload using the DPU for those features, you're going to start seeing a reduced CPU utilization on those same hosts while running the same workloads, which means more performance, more VMs, better density, and in theory, better TCO.
Okay. Now I see you've been working on NVIDIA Launchpad. Is that something available to customers?
Yeah. Hop on out to NVIDIA.com and click on Launchpad, sign up, and we'll get you access to an environment.
Excellent. Thanks for your time, Wes. Much appreciated.
Good to see you again, Ethan.